More vinyl. I'm pretty positive I've gone over some of these already, but I went through the past few videos and apparently I didn't. So maybe I talked about them with somebody else at some other point and made some other video for somebody or something. So if I already talked about these, sorry. Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino, my favorite Arctic Monkeys record. It's a concept album about building a hotel on the moon. And then on top of the hotel, on the roof, they also build a taqueria on the moon. And it gets reasonably good reviews. I do worry that this album has ruined all other Arctic Monkeys albums for me because I'm always going to inherently be kind of disappointed when they release albums that aren't about building a hotel on the moon. But I'm glad this exists. It came out of nowhere and it just made me super happy. All right. We got In the Aeroplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel. I feel like if you're a vinyl collecting man, you have to own this. I'm pretty sure it's legally mandated. But yeah, I mean, this album is incredible. I mean, you've probably heard a lot about it if you like hang out with any music nerds. But I mean, there's a reason for that. I'm not going to say it's a perfect album. I'm going to say it's a borderline perfect album. And it's, kind of a concept album about a guy falling in love with Anne Frank and like traveling through time to try to save her. But also, there's like a weird monster man who's like born in a jar or something. I don't know. I don't even know if it tells one story, but there's all this, repetition of themes and all this very strange and dark and emotionally compelling stuff on it. And I'm a big fan. Okay. Okay. Bon Iver for Emma Forever Ago. This is definitely my favorite Bon Iver record, and I think on every record since this, he's gotten a little farther away from this. I love how just spare and emotional this album is. It's just like most of it's just like him and an acoustic guitar, and he's just pouring his emotions out. And since then, he's made music that's a lot more complicated and artsy than this. But I've always wished that he would go back to making another record of this type. And that EP he put out recently, I was really disappointed it was only an EP because it was kind of a return to this sound, and it made me super excited. And if he does another album in that vein, I'm totally gonna be there. But this is a wonderful record. And once again, if you own vinyl, you're probably legally obligated to have Forever Forever Ago. So I'm glad I do. All right, we got Z by My Morning Jacket, one of my all-time favorite albums. This is the Vinyl Me Please edition of Z with this alternate red tinted cover here, and then on the inside you got the gatefold. And I'm pretty sure the vinyl's nice. The vinyl's like this like splatter, like translucent splatter. Yeah, Z is an incredible record. It's one of my favorite albums ever. I mean, it's just glorious, off the record and anytime and freaking wordless chorus and Gideon. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible. What do we got here? We got Is a Woman by Liam Chop, which is, I would say, if you're going to start out with Liam Chop, either do Is a Woman or Nixon. Those are the two I would recommend starting with. And I don't believe I own Nixon yet on vinyl, but I will. I will soon. And yeah, I don't think this vinyl is anything special, but we do get the gatefold there, so that's nice. And yeah, this is a lovely record. I mean, you got to be in the mood for Liam Chop. They write very slow, very kind of meditative music, but it does really have a sense of humor to it and some nice sprinkles of weirdness. And overall, this is just a lovely album. I do recommend it very highly. We got a Daniel Johnston record here, Songs of Pain. This was one of his very early releases when he was just recording his stuff himself on, like little, like cassette machines and stuff. and that's my favorite stuff in his catalog. The stuff he just recorded at home, and this is his first record, I believe, and he started really strong right off the bat with stuff like Grievances and Never Relaxed, and like A Monkey in a Zoo. Yeah, I mean this is a wonderful, very emotional, very occasionally like disquieting, but like very charming album. Uh, what you got the gatefold again. Always gotta show off the gatefold, and this is all Daniel Johnston's art. I'm a big fan of his illustrations as well. Is there anything with this vinyl? Is this vinyl? No, no, just normal. It's normal, but it's a nice set. Now a couple of these are gonna be, I think just these next two, but I do have more. Um, Oh, these are the two that I don't even know if I want. I got this mystery box, and I used to be like addicted to mystery boxes, so I try not to buy them very much anymore because of the allure of the mystery. It draws me in, and then they're usually junk. But I got this Mondo mystery box with like these with soundtrack records on it. And I did get some really cool ones, but you're not going to see those. You're going to see the two that I still have, but I'm unsure if I'm going to keep them. And that's because I haven't seen either of these movies. And the first one is the soundtrack to Hellraiser, to the new. This is the new Hellraiser, the reboot, and it does come. It's like I would give this away just because I like the first Hellraiser, but I don't have much experience with the franchise, and I don't really know if it's the franchise for me. But they do such nice sets that if I end up seeing this movie and I end up liking it, I'm going to regret not keeping this. So I'm at least going to keep it until I watch the movie and don't like it. If I do like it, great. And the other one is Say Anything, which, is obviously an iconic soundtrack to a lot of people. Yeah, I still haven't seen Say Anything. I'm not the biggest fan of Cameron Crowe, though I do really like Almost Famous a lot. So, I do like John Cusack, quality actor. So, someday maybe I'll watch this and like it as much as everybody else. But until then, I have the soundtrack unopened. So, the new Decemberists record, As It Ever Was, It Shall Be Again, I thought was a very strong record. Their strongest record, of the past few. Which is good because I pre-ordered the vinyl of it well before it came out. So I'm glad I liked it. That was a relief. It's just a cool package. It comes with an insert with all the lyrics here and some nice art, and you got the gatefold there. It comes with a card for the Decemberists card game. I guess they invented a card game. Also, it comes with this little booklet, which is about the making of the album, a studio diary, which is very nice. That's what it looks like. And then the vinyl itself is like wood grain, not exactly, but like approximating that. So yeah, it's a really nice set, and I'm just relieved it was a cool record. The final song on here, I think it's Joan in the Garden, is that what it's called? Like the 12-minute one is really fantastic. So yeah, good record. Glad to have it. And this is Monsters of Folk. This is a recent re-release of Monsters of Folk with some extra tracks on the back because there were 4 official members of the group here. There was Connor Obrist from Bright Eyes and solo stuff. There was M. Ward from M. Ward, and she and him. There was Jim James from My Morning Jacket, and there was Mike Mogus, who is a producer for a lot of Saddle Creek stuff and for the Bright Eyes stuff, their classic records. And then, but they had a guy playing drums named Will Johnson. And He was also a songwriter, but he didn't contribute to the songwriting on the album. So the extra tracks on here, I think, are all Will Johnson songs that maybe they recorded for a potential follow-up album, or maybe they just told him they had too many songwriters and they couldn't put his stuff on the album, which would have been kind of shitty. But I don't know if they did that. So we don't want to call him shitty without any evidence, you know. But anyway, this one comes with another nice insert here. This one like folds out though, so it's like a big giant flag, which is inconvenient, but cool. The vinyl itself is this nice pink, and I don't know if you can see, it has a lot of texture to it. It's very nice actually. And then is the other vinyl the same shade of pink? Yes, it is. Yeah. And of course there's the gatefold. You gotta see the gatefold. Yeah. I really like this record. I mean, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it, you know, since it came out. But I thought, you know, I wish they made another record, and I have hope they still will. But it's like three really good songwriters coming together, and I think creating something that's, you know, more than the sum of its parts. That it wasn't just, you know, songs by these individual artists. It was like they combined their sounds and their influences, you know, to create something like unique. You know, and I thought it was cool, and I got to see them on their tour, which was super fun. And it was really cool because they each played like solo material from their, you know, bands and solo releases, and then they would come together and play Monsters of Folk material. And that show was great. I'm really happy I got to be there for that. This is sadly the final Daniel Johnston record. Chicago, 2017. This was a live performance mostly. There are a couple of studio tracks. But this was Daniel being backed by Jeff Tweedy from Wilco and his son Spencer on drums. And I think it's a wonderful record. I mean, it looks real nice with the shiny stars and everything. But I wish, you know, you can get these little glimpses of the studio work they did on here, and I really wish they could have recorded like a great final album for Daniel together. That would have been really nice. But this is cool. I really like the arrangements on here. I love this version of Walking the Cow. I think drums really enhance that song. And just it makes you feel feelings, you know. He does "I'm So Tired" from the, you know, Beatles song from the White Album, which has always been one I've really liked, and it comes on this cool clear splatter vinyl with Jeremiah on there, with his little frog friend on there from Hi, How Are You? So that's nice. I got this beat shit copy of Cosmo's Factory from Creedence Clearwater Revival. I mean, this is probably their strongest record, with, like, you know, I don't know, looking out my back door, run through the jungle, up around the bend, who will stop the rain. It's kind of like hit after hit on here. And I also got this really beat up copy of Sail Away by Randy Newman, which is a beautiful record. As usual with Randy's stuff, you know, there's like some real darkness on here that kind of catches you off guard, but it's, you know, like very dark lyrics coupled with these very lovely melodies. Oh, and this has, you know, I was like, it's sideways. This is how it's supposed to look. It's like, it opens like this, you know. I don't know. My brain is dying. I don't think I forgot to take that. Okay. Yeah. But you got just a very simple gatefold with all the lyrics on there. Yeah. Brian Wilson is a big fan of this record as well, which is nice. We've got Graceland, and there have been much nicer editions of this, you know, that were remastered and all that jazz. And I do want to get one of those, but in the meantime, you just got to own Graceland because it's an incredible record. It's for my money, it's the best record Paul Simon was ever involved with, either solo or with Simon and Garfunkel. It's just a really magical like confluence of influences and musicians, and there have been lots of other albums that have tried to replicate what makes this so special, but I don't think anybody else will ever come close to 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 matching it. You know, like when this came out, all of the kind of white pop stars around were just like, "Ooh, we need to start incorporating like African influences and world music influences into our music," and it always came off as really calculated. But Paul doing it, you can tell he has like a real like love of that music, and it's not like exploitative. It's just like, hey, you do cool shit. We should collaborate. Because I like what you do and how you play. So I mean, I love it. This is one I own just to own it. It's Michael Parks' album, "Closing the Gap." Uh, there he is on the back, looking cool, and it's got a gatefold with him looking cool, smoking a cigarette. I mean, Michael Parks, if you don't know, mostly known as an actor, and he's a really great actor. Didn't really get parts where he could really show off until later in his career when he was, kind of rediscovered and used by people like Quentin Tarantino and Kevin Smith. Um, but yeah, really cool actors. So it's like I have a copy of Telly Savalas' album too. It's like when I see these pieces of like pop culture ephemera, I just want to grab them. What we got here? We got the soundtrack to First Cow by William Tyler, who's a great guitarist who is on a bunch of Lamb Chop records. I know he plays with a lot of other bands too. But yeah, this was just a really cool movie with a really wonderful soundtrack. So I was really happy to see this, and it's a nice sleeve too. I really like the colors on here. And then finally, we've got one of my absolute favorite Beach Boys albums slash Brian Wilson albums, and that is Beach Boys "Love You." Uh, and this is cool because it's like this embroidered kind of cover, and then the cover is like textured, which is cool. But yeah, this album is insane. This was Brian, years after the heyday of like, Pet Sounds and after Smile had collapsed. And he was trying to reclaim his like youthful, kind of joyous, romantic kind of sound, but it was fractured through the lens of, him going through this dark time in his brain parts. So what you get here is a very strange, occasionally concerning album that also just has some really beautiful, innocent, and sweet stuff on it, like Solar System and Honking Down the Gosh Darn Highway, and you know, and it's also Johnny Carson, which is nuts, and it's also got maybe my least favorite Beach Boys song ever. No, I think "Hey Little Tomboy" is my least favorite, but "Roller Skating Child" on here would be my second least favorite Beach Boys song. But yeah, I mean, this is just one of the most unique records in their discography, in Brian Wilson's discography overall, and it's one of the most like unfettered, expressions of honesty and artistic intent from him that he ever did. Because Brian, he always had songwriters, working with him. He always had collaborators who would partially steer the direction of a project. But on this is just straight from Brian's brain onto the page, and all that's good and all that's a little weird about that. And I so wish he had been able to put out more records like this, where he just very honestly showed you, this is where my head is at. This is where I'm at emotionally. This is how I think. You know, I think there's whether you like the record or not, and I very much do. I think it's invaluable to anybody who's even a little bit interested in Brian Wilson. So that's it for this time. Once again, sorry if I already covered any of these and I just can't find the evidence of it, but apparently I didn't. And we got a lot more to get through, so I'm going on vacation. But yeah, we'll get back to it. We'll get back to it soon. Bye.